Hello, I'm Dale Lauren and I'm with trainhelp.com, and we're having an interview today with Brian Doonan, and we'll start that right off by asking Brian to tell us a little bit about himself.
Thanks, Dale. I'm Brian Doonan with Equipment Safety Services, Inc. out of Arizona. Our company's been involved with the CCO program for over 20 years, certified over 3,000 candidates, and pretty much stay in the states of California, Arizona, Nevada, Utah, and New Mexico.
That's very good. Well-versed individual, well-known in the crane industry. And we have three items of interest here that we're looking at. One is the area of crane certification and testing and training, and the other is the safety issues with the crane industry, and then finally is the government regulations that we're having to deal with. And so when you get in your training program, do you find a lot of people trying to be certified these days?
The numbers have fallen off since '05. The numbers are big in California since '05, but it's tapered off because the states of California, Nevada, Utah, New Mexico all have current CCO laws in effect, as well as 18 other states out there. So the numbers have tapered off, and the economic growth, being slow, has curtailed the number of students available.
I had the misunderstanding there's about 70,000 crane operators in the United States that would have to be certified. What do you know about this certification?
Well, recently CCO has issued a fact in regards to they've certified over 125,000 candidates. I think the majority of the candidates have been certified, and now up to 2014 there'll be others to come, but the big numbers have already passed in the last 4 or 5 years.
Does it cost a lot to get certified, and is this cost supposed to be the responsibility of the employer in the case where the employee does not have to carry the burden of the cost of training?
Well, the new Fed OSHA regulation requires the employer to pay for the costs. That's usually never an issue. They always pay for the costs. Range anywhere from $1,500 to $2,500 to get certified. Good for 5 years. But it's only step one. And the certification and card means that you're certified, but chances are you may not be qualified. Bigger cranes take a lot more experience, a lot more training. So the CCO card is just step one.
The licensing versus certification, I'm confused about what is the difference between licensing and being certified?
Well, currently there's about 18 states where you can become certified as a crane operator, and then there are other areas such as, for instance, state of New Mexico, the city of Chicago, city of New York City, that require state, municipal, or city type licensing. So you may need another card on top of the CCO card to work in that vicinity.
To get licensed, does that require a lot more training and on-field experience?
No, typically it's a written test that you go down, and it's administered by the state or municipality. No operation of the crane typically, but it's another license that is required per that state or municipality.
I heard a story once about a journalist that took the certification test and passed it, and he didn't know anything about operating a crane. Have you heard of anything like this going on?
Yeah, and it goes back to, it's just step one. Most all of the good human resource ladies I know out in the field could come and pass the test, but they have no experience on the crane. It's a two-part certification, both written and practical or hands-on. And then the same way with the guys. Most of them can pass the written test, but unless you have some experience, practice running the crane, the practical exam can be a little hard to pass. But I have had in the past meetings where guys will show me their card. They're certified in every category per CCO, and they've never run a crane in their life. So you can pass the test, but as I say, you can become certified, but you're probably not qualified to run that specific size of crane.
So is this certification process making our crane industry any safer?
Without question. Still, lack of training is a big problem within the industry, but for instance, California, the largest crane market in the country, has had a almost 80% reduction in crane accidents since the certification went into effect back in '05, which is dramatic as far as I'm concerned. Those are huge numbers. The issue right now is very few companies are providing training for the recertification. They need training every couple of years as refresher training. Most of the guys are coming back to recertify at the end of 5 years, but have not received any additional training. Nothing on the new FedOSHA law or the new ANSI standard or any local, state, or municipal laws. So things have changed, technology's changed, the laws have changed, and they need refresher training prior to coming back and recertifying for the next 5 years.
How do we have crane-specific certification? Is that certificate good for a particular kind of crane, or can they run any kind of crane?
Well, the way the CCO program is set up, they have 4 categories. The small fixed telescopic, which is basically a boom truck. Then you have the rough terrain and hydraulic trucks, and swing cab, large telescopic, and then lattice truck and lattice crawler. They both also provide tower and overhead crane certification, but it is not specific to a tonnage class, it's specific to a category. So once you're certified in a small fixed telescopic, you can run a 17-ton boom truck or a 40-ton boom truck if you stand up to operate it. If you're certified in the large telescopic, you could sit down and swing in a 25-ton or a 225-ton. The issue today is that the machines are getting bigger and fewer guys have experience on the bigger cranes.
I know there's a lot of computer controls that are being implemented in the new cranes. Are these computer-controlled cranes providing any safer environment for our
Yeah, they're
industry?
providing a safer environment, but the training is still a little lax out there. Many of the manufacturers have developed their own load moment indicator computers, or LMIs, on their machines. Link Belt Crane has come out with their new in-dash programming unit. Very technical and requires training. So one of the things that's missing from the 70s and 80s is when new products are delivered to customers or distributors, there needs to be some serious service training as well as safety training, but service training on how all the items work on the crane and how to maintain them and how to repair them. And it's not as you don't have as much training in regards to new equipment like you should these days.
So that kind of falls in the responsibility for the equipment, the crane manufacturers.
Yeah, as well as the customers and distributors. They're all in it together, so they all need to provide regional training so that the mechanics and operators can understand some of these new, larger, high-tech cranes.